It's Ultra Mellow Spun DK, and it's acrylic and nylon. It's discontinued from Mary Maxim. They have a new Mellow Spun yarn out, but it's not the same as this. This is a 3, and I'm using a 4.25 millimeter hook with makeup sponges put on it for comfort. This is a very simple stitch, but it actually really looks beautiful once it's worked up. So go ahead and put a slip knot on your hook however you normally do that. And let's do 5 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we'll wrap our yarn around a hook, and we're going to count 1, 2, third chain from your hook, and make a double crochet. We're going to put another double crochet into the next 2 chain spaces until you've used up all your chain spaces. Okay, this little guy hanging off right here, that's your slip knot. You don't crochet into that. You just leave that alone. Okay, so now we're at the end of our first block, and that's what these are. The 4 chain, I'm sorry, the 1, 2, 3 chain, and then you've got 3 double crochets. That's your block. We're going to start another block off the end, which means it's a 5 chain start. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wrap your yarn around your hook and do a double crochet into the 3rd chain from your hook. It's smack dab in the middle of your 5 chain. And you're going to make 3 double crochets, so that's your first double crochet. Okay, here's your second. And here's your third. Okay. Now the way this works is you take the one that was previously made, you flip it up, and you go into the space of that chain that was on the end. Okay, so you originally made this block, and you made it like this, and there's that first chain that went up and around. This was the 5 chains, and then you did 3 double crochets. Then you did 5 chains, and you did 3 double crochets. So here's another 5 chains and 3 double crochets. But now you take this corner and flip it up. Put your hook into this 3 chain space, the chain space, and you do a slip stitch. Now you're in the center, and you're not coming off the end of a block. You're in the center of your work. You only have to do 3 chains here. 1, 2, 3. 3 more double crochets into this chain space. Okay. Now this is the point of your shawl at the bottom, or a corner of your afghan. And there are big gaps. See that? That's what makes this a great spring and summer shawl, because it has all of these gaps. It lets a lot of air in. Now you're at the end, and you're kind of going off into outer space. So you put your 5 chain start on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Yarn over and you go into the 3rd chain from the hook. It's right in the center of your 5 chain start. And you finish your double crochet. Do 2 more double crochets for a total of 3 double crochets, and then your chain. And all the chains do is give you a place to anchor your next block. You see how that's anchored onto this the 5 chains went around, and now it's anchored on there. Okay, so you finished your block. And this is, remember, we turn our work from the bottom up, like turning a page. We were like this, and now we're going to turn it up here and put it together. And there's that chain space. We're just going to anchor it in with a slip stitch, and then we're going to do 3 chains. 1, 2, 3, because we're in the middle of a row rather than out in outer space on the side. So the middle ones are always just 3 chains, because that's all you need to get to that height, and then do your 3 double crochets to finish that block. Okay, so now you're in the middle, you finished a block. Here's another block with the chain space at the end. So you're going to anchor into that with a slip stitch and 3 chains. Double crochet into that same chain space 3 times to finish the block. Okay, so what you're ended up with is a 3 chain or 3 double crochet block, which is a granny stitch. If you're doing a regular granny stitch, it's just 3 double crochets. That's all that's left once you've got it all anchored in. So now we're off on the edge here, and we want to start a new block. We have to do 5 chains. Wrap your yarn, 1, 2, 3, 3rd from the hook, right in the center of your 5 chains. It's your first double crochet, your second double crochet, and your 3rd double crochet. Now you're going to turn the whole work and bring your loop, your chain space, and you will, this part right here, you see it? That's where you slip stitch. And you make 3 chains, and then you do 3 double crochets. So this, to me, looks the most like a granny stitch. These blocks with a chain and then the 3 double crochets, because your chain disappears. You slip stitch, you do 3 chains to level up, and then you do 3 double crochets. And that's your cluster. Those 3 double crochets looks like a granny square cluster. And the 3 chains disappears and just becomes the gap, the place where you make the granny square. Okay, here's another one. Go all the way up to the end, find that chain gap, and you just slip stitch. And then you do 3 chains, because you're not on the end, you're in the middle. And then you do 3 double crochets to finish the block. Okay, so that's how you do it. It makes a really nice shawl. And I like this scalloped edge. So you've got kind of a built-in fancy edging. I think it looks great. You can fill it in with shell stitches. You basically just use this point right here and just make a shell stitch going across each. Or you could do short rows. So, you know, there's different ways of doing it. But I personally like to leave it. I went into the wrong chain space, or chain stitch. The other thing you can do is you can make this into an afghan, or even a block. You can make it into a rectangle or a square. Because what happens if you want to make a square, you start shorting yourself. And I'll show you how to do that right now. Okay, instead of doing the 5 chains when you come to the end, you just turn your work and you do slip stitches. That's it, just a slip stitch. Of they're very tight. But anyway, now you're at the end and you're going to do 3 stitches. So you do this if you want to make your triangle become either a rectangle or a square. So I'm just making the blocks. And I'm pretty sure this is the like default, simple, normal, basic corner to corner block. And yeah, it's one of those stitches you can just watch Netflix while you do this. It's a really nice, versatile stitch. I think it looks really pretty. It's more intricate looking than it. Once you got the how to turn your work and how to make your blocks, where they fit, which chains you're supposed to be doing, you've got it. Okay, so we are at the end. We're going to slip stitch, and we're going to turn our work. I'm just going to go ahead and go like that. Turn our work and just slip stitch. Okay. Instead of increasing that one block on the end, just going to stop and turn around and then backtrack to the block that we just made. 3 chains. And we'll put in our 3 double crochets for our block. Slip stitch into the next block. Do 3 chains. Slip stitch into the top of that 3 chain space. Turn your work. Three chains, 3 double crochet into that chain space. And slip stitch and do a chain stitch to end and anchor it. Just pull it through. Okay, now you've got a C2C block. You can make it as big as you want or small as you want. I have a granny square that I made in my previous video that I could use as a part of a garment and make these alternate different color. I can use all 3 of these colors and work a pattern with this block and then these blocks. I could use a regular granny square to go with it. You know, you can really get creative. But this is called the C2C corner to corner, and it's just done with double crochets and chain stitches. And I think it's a really fun, versatile method of putting your stitches together and creating this lace that is double-sided. You know, it's reversible. It looks the same on both sides. It's lacy. It kind of has like a basket weave look to it. So you could, you know, make little baskets with these. I have a stitch in a previous video that closes all of these gaps and makes it very tight. But one of the things that's nice about just the basic C2C is that you have these nice lacy holes that kind of give it a basket look. And you know, it's very perfect. It's perfect for a cool night, not a cold night. So you're not overly warm, but you're just right. You can edge it however you like. You can stop when you get to the corner to corner and make a beautiful shawl. This is just a versatile thing. I hope you enjoyed this. And please crochet your way today because it's the only time we have. Take care, and I'll see you next time.